Welcome back. We're talking with a group of breed association executives about a variety of topics that cattle producers face on their own operation. And I want to begin talking about hybrid vigor. Obviously, you all represent breed associations, but let's be honest, hybrid vigor works in chickens, it works in corn, and even works in cattle. You all have been maximizing or capitalizing on hybrid vigor for a long time with Beefmasters. Tell us about it.
Sure, Kevin. No, there's no doubt, however you want to describe it, crossbreeding, hybrid vigor, heterosis, it's the one thing within the industry that is free, as we mentioned earlier. It's hard to overcome, but crossbreeding is very impactful to commercial herds and their profitability. But it also impacts the in multiple levels, from fertility and longevity on cows, adaptability to those females, to their climate and region, and vitally important, I think, to the industry as we move forward.
Now, your two organizations have actual hybrids that are registered. Is that correct?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
In the Simmental platform, again, essentially any and all breed compositions are welcome until we look at that. I think the long and the short of it is, to Colin's point, the data is just abundantly clear. Responsible crossbreeding works on the direct side, of course, in that terminal calf, right? So if we look in ours, for example, the Sim Angus calves, a great pairing of two phenomenal breeds. And if you go to Superior Livestock Auction, they'll tell you in the last few years, there's been a 5-fold increase in the number of Sim Angus calves identified on their platform. And that's wonderful from a direct standpoint. But the gift in the business is maternal heterosis, right? That's what, again, goes to our cow longevity. She's more productive in her lifetime. And so if you're a commercial outfit and you're running a bunch of straight Simmental cows, and you're not reaching out and looking at an Angus or a Red Angus bull, you're doing it wrong.
Gotcha.
And vice versa. And so we are convinced the data's clear and our producers just make more money, Joe, if they go about it in that fashion.
So Mark, what should people consider if they've got a set of cows and they want to try a different breed? How do they go about selecting the right breed for their herd?
I think that's a big part of crossbreeding. We talk about the heterosis and the hybrid vigor, Kevin, but the next big thing to me is breed complementarity. And I think as we look at most of our hybrids on our Continentals versus our British-based cows, we're trying to find that medium. We get it with one cross. As Colin said, you get the big bang for your buck on the female for stayability, calf survivability, and weaning weight. But as we look at the life of that crossbred cow over 12, 13 calving seasons, those pounds add up and those dollars add up. As we look at the same thing as we're trying to find the right balance between marbling and yield grade and finish weights, that breed complementarity, I think, Kevin, for finding the right cattle for the right cross to fit today's industry, it's the quickest, biggest free lunch, as Colin puts it, in crossbreeding in the cattle business. And I think it's got a lot of future. And the tools that we have now to find those cattle and sort them out through these different breed associations, it makes the job easier for the commercial cattleman.
Any specific thoughts relative to what producers should consider in developing a organized crossbreeding system?
Yeah, Kevin, I think one of the things that you always need to think about is the relative contribution of the breeds. And we may have learned a long time ago that British breeds do this and Continental breeds do that. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of genetic selection in all the breeds. And so people need to understand that they're used to using, say, one particular breed where breed average is acceptable for heifer bulls. You need to make sure that as you look at other breeds, how do those populations line up? How do they line up for growth? How do they line up for calving ease? How do they line up for marbling? All those traits, I think that's really important, because it's not that they're all exactly the same.
Look at the animals, not just the breeds.
Yeah, exactly, and the differences between the breeds in terms of if I want to have the same level, there's good data from the Meat Animal Research Center and other places that let you say if I want breed X and breed Y to be at the same level of a trait, but you got to do the math to figure it out. You can't just assume average is average.
And when we talk about hybrid vigor, it becomes even more exciting when you cross Bos Indicus with Bos Taurus, right?
That's exactly right, Kevin. I think that when we start looking at heterosis and environmental adaptability that the Brahman breed brings, and the longevity of that cow with the British and the Continental breeds is very important, especially for the Gulf Coast and those semi-tropic type of areas that we're dealing with.
Very good. Great insight, guys. When we come back, we'll have more from our panel of experts, including their thoughts on some of the different marketing opportunities that breed associations offer to commercial producers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.